exciting episode of Pleasure Principles. I'm your host Avik, and today we have an extraordinary guest with us, Natalie Bedard. So, welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me, Avik. It's a pleasure to be here. And you have given me the greatest gift that you could give anybody, which is your time and sharing this space with the listeners. So I look forward to this deep dive. And if you're playful, a lot of people call me Nat Nat.
That's lovely. That's really lovely. Great. And so I'll call you Nat. So, Nat is okay or Nat?
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So before we delve deep into this conversation today, I'd quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Nat is an energy healing specialist and the founder of Lift Oneself. So since 2019, he has been transforming lives by offering tools to regulate the nervous system, relieve the emotional pain, and turn anxiety into empowerment. So her trauma-informed approach helps individuals embrace their fullest potential through the small and actionable steps towards growth and transformation. So today we are diving into the fascinating topic of pleasure and the nervous system. So we will explore how the nervous system influences our ability to receive and experience the pleasure, the connection between trauma, stress, intimacy, and uh, tools for regulating the nervous system to create deeper and more fulfilling sensual and emotional experiences. So, I'll not take much of your time, listeners. So, get ready for an engaging and thought provoking conversation with one and only Nat. So, welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much. And thank you for such a beautiful introduction.
Lovely, lovely. So Nat, your work with the nervous system is truly transformative. I mean, from there, if you can explain, how the nervous system influences our ability to receive and experience the pleasure.
Well, your nervous system is like essential CP. It's what intakes all of information, all of your experiences. Even when you're sleeping, it's on alert, trying to make sure that everything is safe. That's why, all of a sudden there might be noise and you get startled and you wake up, or you could be in a deep sleep and, you're getting dreams and all that. So it's controlling a lot of what you're experiencing. And therefore, as it's controlling and protecting, when it feels there's a threat and it's unsafe, then it has a significant impact on how your body opens up and closes up to things.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So, I mean, if you can tell us, what are some of the common signs that uh, our nervous system might be blocking us from fully experiencing the pleasure?
You can feel rigidity, you can feel nervousness, you can feel almost like irritation or feeling of, disgust, feeling not being attracted to somebody, feeling turned off. And if you're not curious to inquire internally what that is, then it can ruin a lot of interactions with people because the possibility is you've never been able to advocate for yourself and let somebody know what they are doing is causing you to feel uncomfortable and unsafe. So what your default is just to push them away and not deal with the kind of quote unquote confrontation, the conflict that's going on. And so it's really understanding safety is always needed to have the extreme pleasure with arousal of the body. So a lot of times, to get to that safety, you have to come out of your head. And a lot of us are in our head analyzing every little thing, wanting to be perfect, wanting to do the game plan. We don't even know how to allow curiosity to unfold. We also have a lot of BS. And when I say BS, I mean belief systems of how we should show up, especially with our sexuality. we may have been indoctrinated that it's only a certain way, and anything outside of that parameter is taboo, is evil, is dirty. So then pleasure only has a little parameter, yet your body would like to explore other things. The belief system is telling you, "No, you're not allowed to because of this and that and that and this that you've been taught." So the nervous system will go with the belief system because you haven't challenged that belief system. You haven't learned to disintegrate that belief system and walk through that belief system. So that our belief systems are what really program the nervous system. So it's being able to face ourselves and recognize, wait, I have a belief system that is blocking me things that possibly I would like to explore.
Exactly. That's just is really incredible, like how our nervous system impacts our daily experiences. I mean, I think like many of us, many listeners will find it eye opening to kind of learn and about this subtle but yet powerful influences. So, thanks for sharing this. And so, in your experience, like, what is the connection between trauma, stress, and the body's response to the intimacy?
Well, trauma, if you've experienced traumatic events, trauma is separation from self. And so when you're separated from self, you're going on the outside of yourself to grasp for safety and security. And therefore, that's why, people become turbulent or where they hear midlife crisis or these different burnout. It's because eventually you come to recognize you're going in the wrong direction. You've always supposed to been gone internally, yet because of the experience of pain, not being able to feel your authentic emotions, you always go on the outside to be able to cope. You don't know how to feel within your body. You haven't learned how to create that safety within yourself. And you know, being connected back into self could feel unsafe because when you were in self, you were harmed. Could be psychologically, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And so to go back in there feels viscerally uncomfortable in your body because there's a signal that if I go here, pain is going to happen again. Where
Exactly.
it's there's truth to it. Like life, there's going to be pain in life, no matter what. Yet what happens is that when you were a child, you didn't have a lot of power that an adult can do. You were still dependent on your caregivers. Whereas now that you're an adult, you have autonomy. You have the responsibility of being accountable and being able to advocate for yourself. So that's what the dynamic of, coming back into self and you know, configuring your perception and what that safety feels like in your body and being able to face the pain, being able to verbalize and say, I feel afraid and not feel like a weakness. Actually empowered to recognize, oh, this is a healthy signal that's coming on because of the context of what's happened in my life. Yet I have to remind myself what happened before isn't happening now. So what is it that may be possibly signaling this that I can look at it and walk through it?
Yeah, got it. Yes. So, okay. I mean, if you can share, like, how can individuals begin to heal these connections to improve their intimate relationships?
Well, healing is always inside. So therefore it requires you to have some discipline to kind of quote unquote confront yourself, to quote unquote be a mad scientist about yourself. Learn about your learn about your triggers, learn about your especially, we're talking about pleasure here. So some listeners have had sexual trauma and they've never really been able to explore what those real emotions felt like. They went into protective emotions and they've just stayed there. They weren't allowed to really feel the vulnerability, the sensitivity, the fear that went on in their body. So it's been charged and stuck inside their body. A lot of people realize, I tell my clients anger is a healthy emotion. It's befriend anger. It's a protective emotion. It's protecting your vulnerability. It's protecting your sensitivity. It's signaling that something feels unsafe, something
Yeah.
feels not right. So if you're always defaulting to anger all the time, it's
Mhm.
possibly that you don't even know how to feel your hurt. You don't even know how to feel the helplessness. You don't even know how to feel vulnerable because it doesn't feel safe. So it's being able to explore those things and being transparent with yourself. And when you can find safety with another person, sometimes it can't be with your partner right away because they don't have the capacity to listen and deal with the intensity that might come out. So when you're able to find somebody that is able to witness that in a safe container that's sacred, and they don't pull away when you have these bursts of emotional detox and processing, and that you can go through the whole wave and nobody changes it, and you come out of it, you see that, "Oh, I don't have to reject myself because somebody on the outside didn't reject me or tell me I should feel or be something different than what I was experiencing in the moment." And once you start doing that, at first, it's very messy, it's very uncomfortable, it's very disorientating. The thing about emotions is you're not supposed to make meaning of it, and the mind always wants to make meaning of things. Emotions are just simply to be expressed. When I say to be expressed, it does not mean taking action. It does not mean active with it. It means witnessing and feeling it in your body. If you need to release the energy of it, then I suggest to my clients to yell in a pillow, go to a smash room, break some things in a safe container, do some dancing in high intensity, find ways to release that energetic charge. A lot of
Yeah.
people think that, "Oh, well, I'm feeling this," so the thought is, "Oh, this person didn't harm, so I'm gonna go harm them," and it's like, no,
Yeah.
that is not what release is. That is reaction, and that's projecting and offloading because you don't have the capacity to feel the intensity in your body. And we're all gonna make mistakes. This isn't about, school and getting a perfect mark. This is about, having compassion, radical honesty with yourself, radical kindness, radical compassion, so that you are engaged with when I do see myself make a mistake, I don't disconnect from myself. I hold the space of accountability. I look at context. Not just the action, what I did. I look at the context of what fueled it. Yes, other people may not wanna listen to it anymore because 'cause they've heard it many a times, yet it's for you to engage of, "Why am I still defaulting to this pattern and this habit? What have I not really felt yet for myself in those authentic emotions?" And once you can do that, you have a better relationship of communicating with your partner. What pleasure needs is communication, and many of us want mind reading. Just figure me out. You should know better. You should know what my sensory touches are. You should know what turns me on. You should know. And it's like, well, you're the one living in your body. You have to
Mhm.
be able to guide and direct somebody of what feels good to you, what is sensual to you? What are your pleasure points? And also articulate when you aren't in the mood and you don't want to be aroused, because that
Yeah.
could be a very big turnoff for somebody, and then they'll be passive aggressive with you, and they
Yep.
don't even know that you didn't want that because you didn't articulate it properly. So it's not just a one size fits all. It takes dedication to want to be transparent and honest with yourself, takes to want to be able to communicate and reveal your vulnerability, reveal your sensitivity, reveal what opens you up. And a lot of people are afraid of that. Intimacy is not just sexual.
Mhm.
Intimacy is much more profound. It's being intimate with yourself and being raw and open with yourself so that when you open yourself up to somebody else, the harm that you perceive that they can do is that even whatever they do, you won't separate from yourself.
Exactly.
Connected with yourself.
Mhm. Exactly. Very truly said. So, I mean, what are some of the effective tools for regulating the nervous system to create a kind of um, a deep and more fulfilling sensual and the emotional experiences?
Would you be willing to do a mindful moment with me? It'll be like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so I can
Oh,
share, what this can do for the listeners, and for yourself possibly, and what I
oh,
do times a day.
yeah.
Okay. For the listeners, I'm gonna ask Vic and myself to close our eyes at a certain point, yet if you're driving, please don't. Yet the other prompts you're able to do. So Vic, I'll want you to get comfortable in your seating, and you're gonna begin breathing in and out through your nose. And if it's safe to do so, I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes. And you're gonna bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out through your nose. You're not gonna try and control your breath. You're just gonna be aware of the rhythm, allowing it to guide you into your body. There may be some feelings and sensations coming up, and that's okay. Let them come up. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop deeper into your body. By now, you may have noticed that you've gone into thoughts or experience popped up, and that's okay. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, beginning again, creating space between the awareness and the thoughts, and dropping deeper into the body while staying with the breath. You may have noticed now that the rhythm has changed a bit. The sensations have moved around in your body. Again, thoughts may have popped up, and that's okay. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, creating even more space between the thoughts and your awareness, and dropping deeper into your body. Staying with your breath and allowing yourself to just be. Continue just being with the breath, not controlling anything, not rejecting anything, allowing there just to be a space of being. Now, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with your breath. So, this is what I call a mindful moment, where, for many, if they do Vipassana meditation, they'll understand
Mm,
when your breath. It also, because of the tone of my voice, it helps to regulate the nervous system so that when the intensity and the mind doesn't like staying focused with the breath and be in the presence. It wants to analyze and make meaning of things. Yet the more and more that you can take these little moments, I call them, as I said, mindful moments. Yet if you could do this every hour or whenever you feel an activation coming on, that you can do a check-in internally of what really is being felt and what's going on so that you can take charge and reshift it. Because once we're activated, it hijacks our behavior and we go into patterns and habit without even recognizing it. We're very unconscious of this. Yet by grounding ourselves in the breath, which is always in the present moment, that allows us to interrupt some of the patterns and be curious of what is going on internally. What are these emotions that are trying to surface that I haven't allowed myself to feel? Because most of us think our feelings. We don't actually feel our feelings. Or we have secondary emotions. We don't even know what our authentic emotions feel like. And emotions are energy, they're information, they're data. Therefore, if you're not able to feel it, you're not able to hear the information that's trying to come up. And a lot of times when you start doing your deep, raw healing, you'll come to those wounds. They'll present themselves so that you can see a definition and narration that you've created about yourself. What was experienced that you weren't able to have verbiage for at the moment. It kind of feels like a gnawing itch that you can't get to. Yet once you start feeling those emotions, they come up and they let you see exactly what you have been feeling or what narration and belief systems that have been created because of these experiences. And then there becomes a lightness in your body. There comes an opening that it's like I can allow myself to receive. A lot of people don't realize with pleasure it's to receive. Many of us want to give because that is a position of power. To receive is a position of vulnerability. Yet when you can allow yourself to receive, that's where the pleasure is also. And it's a give and take with, couples. It's giving and receiving. Yet I bet you a lot of couples will say, "Well, I have to be the dominant one. I always have to be the one giving the pleasure." Yet I would ask, "Well, why is that? Why can you not receive pleasure? Why can you not be
Mhm.
submissive if there's safety in that relationship?"
Exactly. Wow. It's really, really amazing, like how something as simple as breathing can have such a profound impact on our ability to experience the pleasure and connection. That's really awesome. Yeah. And like the nervous system is often seen as the complex and somewhat mysterious part of our body. So, do you think that there are any misconceptions about it that we should address?
I think the misconception is that people think there's something wrong with them
Hmm.
and that they're not enough and that they have to get rid of something about themselves.
Hmm.
In actuality, it's to integrate and be whole. Certain parts of your personality that might, cause, harm or making mistakes or going into certain experiences that cause pain, it's to allow curiosity to ask, "Well, why am I feeling this, and why am I going into these kind of patterns?" It's about integration. There's, like, say if, for instance, you've harmed somebody, in your life, and you just wanna forget that part of yourself, and, you just wanna get rid of it. Why? One, there's judgment in society. Society is not forgivable, even though everybody talks about forgiveness, there's so much judgment that once you make a mistake, that's stuck on you for life. The thing is that it's a part of you, and if you don't integrate it in, you will possibly recreate that same mistake again. When you
Yeah.
integrate, you learn the lesson and you feel the accountability of, "This is not the way that I want to show up," because it feels so uncomfortable to feel that judgment, to feel what I have caused another human being, what that look like now. Yet if you
Mhm.
it, you won't know what that feeling is, and your self-awareness won't expand outside of yourself to see another individual. So it's
Exactly.
about integration and maturing that part.
Exactly. Very, very true. Yeah. I mean, clearing up misconception is very, very important. So, I mean, it actually helps us approach to our health and well-being with more clarity and confidence. So, thank you so much for sharing this. And so, Nat, like, thank you, Ian, for sharing your profound insights and experiences with us today. And definitely, your work with the nervous system and its impact on pleasure is truly inspiring. And I'm sure that our listeners have gained valuable knowledge on like how to better understand and harness the power of their nervous system. So, for everyone who is listening, remember that transformation is possible, and it actually starts with becoming uh, aware of patterns that drives us. So take that first step towards regulating your nervous system and enhancing your ability to experience the pleasure. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, Do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends and family. And with this, stay tuned for more episodes of Pleasure Principles where we continue to explore the fascinating aspects of human behavior and psychology. So, with this, until next time, keep seeking the pleasure and embracing growth. So, thank you so much.